Why are you, using the media to, that sort of huge interest in using the media to get to the people regarding education?
Thank you, Sobo. Thank you. Let me first extend greetings to our boss, the president,
Okay.
for the opportunity to serve in his government.
Mhm.
And I always say the vision for education in this country is the vision of the president. We are lieutenants, we execute those activities. We develop the strategies to make the vision to come to reality and all of that. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Mm.
But for the past 4.5 years, Minister of Education has been not as pervasive and aggressive in getting to the public. I think the time is ripe that we now get to the public more clearly. We intend to have similar programs for every county education officer.
Mhm.
We're providing some funding so that they use community radio
Okay.
to convey to the public what school is all about. We look at the statistics of students in school compared with students out of school, and it's alarming. It's alarming. And we thought we should do everything we can to make sure to encourage the parents and the students for the children to come to school first.
Mm.
When they are in school, then we start talking about them learning, but they got to come to school first.
Okay.
Okay. The critical thing to do is to bring them to the place of learning, and then it will become our responsibility to be able to provide them the learning that they desire. That's
Okay.
why we have come today to start this initiative.
Okay, so on that note now, Professor Ansu Sonnie, Minister of Education, where are we with the reopening of schools?
All right. We have an academic calendar. Let me first lay the premise.
Mhm.
I listened to the conversation the other day, and my very esteemed director of communication was here with you, and he brought this up repeatedly. For 2 years now in succession,
Mhm.
we have lost so much learning time. The students have tried based on what we have taught and the time we stay in school. 2020 alone, we lost 4 months of school. 2021, we lost another 3.5, almost 4 months of school. You will notice that last year when we asked people to open school in November, they didn't open until December. Some didn't even open until January. And from January to June, July, they closed school, promoted the student to the next class. Tell me, if you should be in school 10 months to complete a curriculum, and you go to school for 6 to 7 months, you haven't completed a curriculum. I'm dead sure. Except by the personal initiative of students, many of them would not have done well in various public exams. The kids got to be in school. I understand, people, we talk about financial problem and all of that. That's true. But let me just appeal to you here.
Mhm.
The longer the children are out of school, many times we lose them from coming back. Many times. Some of them who will get addicted to maybe learning to ride bike will leave school. Some of the girls will join their mothers and start going to market. Why? Because there are no activities for them to be engaged in out of school. I hope the parents can understand me.
But also the
Yeah.
parents have some major concern, Mr. Minister.
Yes.
About the high intuitions.
Let me ask you, Sobo.
Mhm.
The hospital bill and your child dying, which is better? You have to find a way to take care of the hospital bill.
So does it mean, Mr. Minister, does it mean
the-
that you cannot appeal to the schools to also be flexible with the parents?
This is where I'm coming.
Okay.
This is where I'm coming. The parents should not put fees ahead of their kid's future.
Mhm.
Fees are important, but it's secondary. Children learn over a given period. Every time lost is not replenished. 60% of our children are in school at the wrong ages.
Okay.
And so they grow to the point that the temptations begin, especially the girls. So the earlier we bring them to school, the better it is. What we have asked schools to do is to engage every school has a PTA.
Parents
The
Teachers
Parent
Association. Okay.
That PTA leadership has a responsibility on a case like this to meet the school. All of the schools that I know, they request payment by installment. Therefore, if a school is asking for 40% of the total fees upfront, this is where the PTA engages the school. Say, look, under the current circumstances, we just come from COVID. Things are a little bit difficult, and school is closed in July and it's open in September. There isn't sufficient time, but we want our kids to be in school. What flexibility can you provide us? In that case, instead of 40% down deposit, you can now talk about 20%, so that the children are in school. I also have, and we're going to make this one more rigid. Schools are not to be depending on this year's tuition to run the school. No. We're going to reinforce this bleeding. I'd like for you to make a special note on this, because this is in the policies that govern school administration. You cannot start a school and you're waiting for the first tuition to pay a teacher. No. If you're going to start a school, it's like a business. It requires an investment. You must be capable of running the school for at least 6 months while you are collecting fee. But if you're going to depend on fee first before you even do the school, then we have a problem. So what we are doing is to appeal to school leaders to give the parents some flexibility. Let's assume we say, okay, don't open school until November, December. So what happens to idle children between July and September, and August, and October, and November? Many parents go to work. The majority of them go to market. What happens to their children during that time? The best place for the children to be sober is in school.
It's in school. Now, so what is the date that you've set as a Ministry of Education for the reopening of schools?
School opened by our regulation on September 5. That has not changed. Now, there are some schools who started some orientation that first week of school. We are now in the second week of school, and we're not changing that.
But are you aware that there are schools that are not reopened?
Oh yeah, that students have not gone to.
So what are you doing now, Mr. Minister?
I can only continue to appeal to parents, because I can't go to the houses and compare the children go to school. They have a responsibility.
But you came up with a policy, and you are the one who supervises all of the schools. I'm making reference to the Ministry of Education. And you set up a date, and there are schools that are not complying. You just sit there and go with impunity?
No. We are doing visitation to the school. That's why we have county officers, all of who are mobile now. We are district education officers in Monserrado. All of them are mobile across the country. But in the case of Monserrado, they are all mobile. I have been to visit some schools in my immediate community. The day we should have started some schools, they didn't start. I went to their schools. I met the principal.
So what is the punitive actions for those schools that are not reopened?
We are considering that, but I don't want to begin to sound penalties for school. Now, here's the issue. If I don't bring my child to the school, you can't teach them. The children have to be in the school. I went to 2 other schools in my community. No student were there. And it is the parent really we're talking to. Now, in the case of a school that I met, what I asked them to do is, and which I've been announcing, give the parents some flexibility, but don't let the children lose time. Look, according to the Education Act of 2011, the total number of days children should spend in school on the basis of which a curriculum is drawn is 200 days, 10 months. And schools should open September, consistent, go across the region. People in Nigeria, people in Ghana, people in Sierra Leone, they all got parents and they all got financial problems. The Sierra Leone had COVID, who didn't have COVID? But the children are in school. Why is it that we alone are saying our children can't go to school because we found money? Okay, let me ask the parents question. Let's assume we wait. Who can tell me when all the parents will have money to send their children to school, then we start?
But Mr. Minister, you sounding as if you are providing justification for the schools not opening on time. Rather, you are shifting it on the parents. Have you heard from parents who have said the schools are not open because our parents and our children are not there? No, you haven't heard from them.
I went to the school in my community, and the school teachers, some of the principals were on campus.
But just few schools you went to. Maybe one or two schools.
No, I went to 3 schools that morning.
Okay, 3 schools.
I got to work.
I know you got to. But there are many schools that are not reopened.
What I mean is, I went to the schools to see myself. Okay, because schools that are in
they told you that they are not reopened because the parents have not sent the children.
I didn't see any children in the campus. I didn't say they told me. I went to the school. I didn't see.
But apparently they will have set a new date for reopening.
Well,
it's not the parents.
Well, here's the issue. If they set a new date, I will know. They would have said, "Oh, we set a new date."
But they wouldn't tell you, Mr. Minister. You expect them to tell you?
But you see, if it, I'm not going to guess them. But no parent.
Did you ask as to why they are not reopened yet?
So, in fact, one of the registrar came there and said, only 10 students have registered. I said, look, it is not. I said, do not put money first. Send a message. Send for your PTA. You are the leaders of the school. The parents are depending on us. Many of the parents don't even know the benefit of what we're doing. So we have a responsibility as school to encourage parents. So somebody say, well, I don't have money yet, sit down and wait. Okay, sit down and wait. What happens to the child? Now, my concern is what happened to the child more than the money that you're supposed to be talking about. So we have engaged the schools.
And are you also concerned, Mr. Minister, as to why are school authorities increasing almost every semester, every year, increasing their tuition? Are you concerned as well?
Oh yeah, we're concerned about that. No, we're concerned about that. But again, we've made emphasis again. As I'm speaking, beside the county education officers and the DEOs, we try to set a small committee from the ministry itself.
Okay.
Just go and counter check what the CEOs are the information they're giving us. Just visit 200-300 schools and just find out exactly whether get the information sheet for last year, get the information sheet for this year, and see if there has been any significant change in the tuition. Now, somebody will say, well, Minister, if I were charging my tuition was $500 last year, and the cost of living has changed, cost of fuel for generator has changed, electricity costs have changed, I need an adjustment. But basically, we have developed a policy earlier that you cannot increase more than $100 if you were to. That's 20%. Just in case you have to. But even now, we have appealed to schools to see if they can consistently maintain their school fee as it is. Now, also, parents also have some responsibility. If my kids the time my kids were going to school, that's a long time ago. Now, what if I go to the school? So if information change at the school, I will know. So if I want to pay a tuition this year, for example, last year, if I paid $200, and I go this year, they say I pay $400. The first person to know is me, the parent. I have a right to call the ministry and say, I went to my school. You won't say the schools are. We got 8,000 schools. So don't tell me the schools are. Tell me I went to my school and the school is charging me $400 this year, whereas the tuition was $200 last year. Okay. Give me that feedback. Then my team will now go to that school and investigate what has happened. And once it is not justified, they will have to reverse.
Now, so what is the fees? What are the fees for public schools across the country?
Public school registration fees is $1,000 Liberian for elementary school.
Okay.
At the time we set those registration fees, it was $5 per year, $2.50 per semester, $2.50 per semester. It was $5 when we set the rates. The junior high level is $2,000. That 2,000 at the time we set the rate, it was $10. $5 first semester, $5 second semester. That's registration fee.
Okay.
Tuition is not $5. For senior high level 10 to 12, all inclusive activities, ID and all of that, it was $15. Talk about senior high. $7.50 first semester, $7.50 second semester. Let anybody tell me that those are out of order. However, those small fees have helped to fill in some of the gaps that take us time to do. Now people say, yeah, government says that's true. But the time it takes us to even get what you need. For example, I sat down the last time, we did some calculation. Every teacher needs at least 2 boxes of chalk a year. 2 boxes of chalk from first semester to the end of the year. And we got about 14,000 of them. So that's 28,000 boxes of chalk. Every teacher needs a rule book. Now, what I'm saying here is we set those small fees in place then. $5 elementary school, $10 junior high school, $15. I'm putting it in US dollar. That's the equivalent. They don't pay US dollar.
Okay.
I'm just giving the equivalent because we decided this more than 3 years ago, and when we decided it, these were the amounts that we agreed to make it affordable. Okay. And besides that, we also made repeated emphasis that not all of the parents may have those fees to pay at the time of registration. Therefore, no public school has any right to put a child out of school because they have not paid the registration fee. However, we emphasize that during the year, they should pay a registration fee. Even if they bring $100 per month, librarian dollar, you take it. All right, something like that. So to make sure that they do not leave school because of that. I'm talking about public schools now, not a private school. So that should not change. I heard a number of times that PTA and agree for project and those PTA fees are added to the fee. We said another
feeding fees as well.
Yeah, feeding fee. Now the feeding fee is normally at the early childhood level. The children who are 3 years old, 4 years old, when you get them to school, you got to get them food. We don't provide food for them. Therefore, there is a $3,500 that they pay. The majority of it is to feed them every day. Okay. Some of them
what
don't
kind
pay.
of food with $3,500?
So, per year. If you divide that by what 200 days, it's less than 20 Liberian dollar per day. Just check it. Take 3,500 divided by 200 days of school. Now, when you take it as a lump sum, that's big money.
But are you concerned as a minister as to what kind of food they'll be providing for the kids?
Oh yeah, I'm concerned. And
have you told them what kind of food?
No, I can't tell them. They got to get them because the same food that they eat normally home. Kids have plantain. They're not going to get them a hamburger and barbecue.
No,
yeah.
But don't.
So
Yeah, not saying that. But at least they should give them something that they eat. That something similar that they eat from home.
Yeah. They can, of course, those are local schools. They're not going to go look for the food they will get that rice, plantain, cassava. If they got some beans to
possibly a school could just give them one donut and that's all.
No, I don't think so. But it won't be for me to go and look at to see if they can't just give you one donut.
Okay.
I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
If that was the case, some parents would have complained ever since. Some parents, because some parents don't really care. But there are some parents who will complain, oh, they only give my child one little piece of donut or something. So we are saying if you do not give some food to early childhood children, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, they will not stay in school. The attention span is weak if they don't eat. And unfortunately, many of the parents don't get their children food, they send them to school. Send them to school on empty stomach, except for bag of water.
Okay.
So in that case, whatever happened, I'm talking about only early childhood. When you have passed 6 years old, you are not as vulnerable to hunger as a 2-year-old, 3-year-old child. Therefore, there is no 3,000 something. Once you get to first grade, that's $1,000.
Okay.
Registration fee. And that registration fee, the principals collected themselves at the school level themselves, and they use it at the school level to make sure that they take care of a few things. And sometimes, if there is a teacher that is volunteering, if there is, not all the school got janitors, not all the school got security or watchmen, because that's also, we got 3,000 schools. So if you got to get security for each of the school, that's 3,000 people already.
Okay.
Just there. So those are not affordable immediately. So the small registration fee you collect, you take care of, find something for those people. The schools collect it. We don't go back to audit them for that. Because nobody has the time to go there. The cost of auditing, those kind of money, more than even the money. But we engage the CEOs and DEOs to follow up on this and make sure that, one, if you're collecting money to feed students, you feed the students.
Okay.
Now, there are schools that are feeding, that schools, WFP, Mary's Meal, Save the Children, and they provide food. But they take the rice, the oil, the beans. That's all. How you get cooked is not their business.
Okay, now let me come to this now regarding
Yeah.
the reopening of schools, Mr. Minister.
Yeah.
So how soon do we see your team of monitors to go across the entire country to determine whether schools are opening or not?
No, the team is already in the counties. When you take people from this ministry to go around this country, there are thousands of dollars. We might well just put out to the
Okay,
school.
for Montserrat, how soon do we see that team moving around?
The team is already moving.
But they've told you that schools are now, many of the schools
I
are
have
reopening.
been to some.
Okay.
Myself been to some.
So do you have a new date now set?
No. The date remains the same. Whether they come to school or the date remains the same. Now, the emphasis is, if you keep setting the date, we'll go to December trying to open school. I bet you. So we keep the date. The date doesn't change. My birthday is today. Whether I have a party or not, my birthday doesn't change.
Okay.
It's not different. What we're saying is we have kept the dates now. The first marking period, we also calculated the school days. The first marking period covers 35 days in total. Now, September 5, from September 5 to October 21st is the first marking period. Now, people who have not started, they've already lost 1 week. We are appealing to you, and the only people we're supposed to be appealing to is not public schools, it's private schools, to create flexibility for the children to come to school. And let the parents send the children to the school and let the school send them back. Let me just tell the parents, ask your children, let them go to school, let the school send them back. Then you gave me the name of one or few of those schools, because basically, then the appeal we are making to them to create flexibility. If I were to pay $10 to start, and I got $5 now, take it and let me start. So that before end of September or October, I pay the other $5. That is the kind of flexibility.
Now, so parents, you've heard it now. If the school that your children are going, or your son or daughter is attending, if the school is charging, let's assume, $1,000, and you have only $500, go and pay that money. The Ministry of Education said the school will reopen by all means.
Yes.
If you pay that money.
That is the request I'm making.
Oh, you're making a request now?
I have to.
Okay.
I have to, because you see,
it's not mandatory.
Can that mandate parent? No. I'm talking to
the school.
The school does not have the kind of parent that the private. The school is not the one paying money. Okay. It's the parent who
No,
pay
the
money.
school may not accept they have payment.
The school will accept.
They will accept.
Let the parents just you see. Here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Just like you go to a marketplace, you want to buy something. You say this thing is $10. You're not going to say, okay, say at $10, I'm going. No. You say, well, I don't have 10. I have 5. Mm-hmm. It is for me who's selling it to say no. But the parents have to take that initiative. They shouldn't sit and say, well, we didn't get money yet. Because the time is going and their children ages are increasing. Besides that, where do they know their children go when they leave them to go to work?
Okay.
Where do they know? We're losing the children because of idleness, support. The children, we are losing them because they are not doing anything. And when they don't have anything to do, they will think about something. And that thing could be the wrong thing. You can lose your child trying to save $500 or $1,000 just because the child is left home. As far as you're concerned, you're leaving them home. We're not even anywhere.
Yeah, surely. Now, so schools, you set the day for September, right?
Yeah.
September 1 or
September 5.
September
Monday
5.
last week.
Now, you are opting for the reopening of schools. What's the status of our 156 schools that are under construction under the RS project? What is it now?
Oh, the school did not close when the reconstruction was taking place.
Okay.
The reconstruction took place while the schools were still in session. Okay. Now we have done all of them, but 80% of them they're totally complete, and it has attracted most students coming back to our various schools because of the way it is. Especially even last year when I went around the country. Not last year, this year. The number of students that were coming, some of the schools could not accommodate. These are only high school we're talking about now. The 156 of them. Of course, we paid another 28. The contracts have all been signed. We expect to begin by October and complete them by November next year.
Are they all government funded?
Oh, yeah. They're all government funded. You see, when we get funds from the World Bank or any of the institution, they give it to government. Okay, it's not to a ministry or individual. It comes to government and say, government will grant you this money. You want to build some high school, you can go ahead. It's our discretion, but it is us, it's the government. So it's the government that's actually building the school with support from some of them.
So they've 80% completed now.
The 80% of them are totally completed.
Okay.
The other ones, some of them have some problems, especially some of them are distances, have some problem, and they've been working on them.
Okay.
If you go to D2 now, D2 is different. All public high schools, whether it was MCSS or not MCSS, it made no difference. They were under the project as well. You go to GDA on the highway, they were all all supported to across the country.
As Minister of Education, anyway, let me announce first. Listeners, you are listening to a special program sponsored, paid for by the Ministry of Education. In fact, they're going to be regular every Wednesday. We'll have this program on ELBC. Either the minister himself will come, or he will designate his officials to come on this program. It's basically intended to to inform you and educate you about the successes, the challenges, and prospects of the education sector. Now, Mr. Minister, as Minister of Education, what is your reaction to this year's WISE result?
Well, frankly, I have seen the trend, and I'm impressed about the trend. And once you create a trend, that trend will suggest whether you are progressing or retrogressing.
Okay.
I'm convinced with the trend that I've seen that our students are steadily performing, even with the difficulties.
Steadily performing. What do you mean?
Performing well. They're doing well.
Okay.
But relatively, because if they were making 30% before and they're making 60% now, that's progress. If they were making 60 before and they go to 80%, that's progress. If they were making 50 and coming back to 40, going back to 60, then there's no trend. We have established trends at all levels, the third grade, the sixth grade. In fact, those are among the very best performing students. Okay. Of course, you will say children in third grade, they don't have distraction. Whatever you teach them, that's what they do. The place we have some challenges at the senior high level, because not everything is fully in place at that level, like laboratories and all of this. There are a lot of implements that schools have to find to make sure that these things are done properly. So for me, the students are doing relatively, and I use the word relatively because as an old teacher myself, grading is based on your own intuition and what you expect. My expectation has not been met, but we are going towards my expectation. My disappointment no longer exists. What used to happen before does not exist anymore. Let me just give you an example. The very first year, it was this government that brought WAS.
Okay.
Before now, the students were doing WIAC, the General National Examination. So when we talk always about we part the region, so we have to do the WAS. Now we are doing the WAS. We started from 2018, and in 2018,